Hey everybody, happy Monday. If you can hear me, just wave. That way I know we're all good. Yay! So many people waving back at me. That's awesome. Well, I've already got this recording. I have a lot to cover, so I'm just gonna hop right into things here. Many of you probably know me because we've met before, whatever, but if we haven't, my name is Amber Bailey. I have been a coach for 7.5 years, and I'm feeling kind of like a veteran in the business at this point. But my journey started, kind of at an interesting time in my life, and God really got a hold of me. It was like, Amber, if you'll take care of yourself, I'm going to take care of the rest. And so that's where my journey began. I had no interest in building the business at that time. In fact, I told my coach, don't even talk to me about that. But here we are. So 7.5 years later, I can say that, I think I told somebody else this on a different call earlier or last week, but it's interesting because, usually like you have a job for 7.5 years, and I think it's uncommon for people to say, I am just as excited, if not more, about what I do than I was on the day that I started. And so I can say that pretty unapologetically about what I get to do as a coach. And so my hope and prayer is that you see that big picture at some point on this call, and that something like you grab something that gives you the leg up or the momentum that you need, or I don't know, that big idea that you might be missing, because I want that for each and every one of you. So if you have questions on this call, I'm going to say that the other leaders on the call hopefully can field some of those throughout, but I will stop at the end, and if there's time left over, we'll do a little bit of a Q&A if you have questions, but I won't be able to probably answer them throughout the call, so just know I'm not ignoring you. But I tend to get a little distracted if I stop, and so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let me move a few things around here so we can see. And okay, so if it's all right with you guys, I'm going to leave my screen. Actually, I'll go ahead and enlarge it. Sometimes when I do that, I can't see y'all, and I really like to be able to see y'all, but that's okay. So, okay, I think we're all good. I am excited to talk about the compensation plan, and I know it kind of like maybe goes right up there with like policies and procedures, that long document that maybe some of y'all have read and maybe some of y'all haven't. Or maybe you've tried to understand the compensation plan, and there are some things you understand about it, but maybe you're feeling like something is missing. You're not sure you're getting the whole gist of it. And so I'm going to do my best to simplify things here as best as I can, because there is a lot to it. But we're going to just kind of dive in. This call could be a very long call. So again, I'm going to do my best to simplify and hopefully clear up some things for you guys. So there are lots of ways to earn as a coach. And so I think sometimes we get stuck on the one or two things that we see right away or we experience most often. And so when we look at the big picture of our compensation plan, it's not just volume, it's not just rank, but it's both of those things that contribute to your income. For example, we don't suggest, and I'm going to say this too at the end of the call, that you build an empty shell of a business for rank, because you could be a high rank, but you might not be earning the same income as somebody who is a lower rank. Does that make sense? If you've built an empty shell of a business and you haven't filled it with the volume, then something's missing there. And so you can't just build for rank and you can't just build for volume. You really want to concentrate on both. And so we're going to talk about both tonight so that you can better understand how the two work together. Okay, so the first way that you can earn, and this is the one that I feel like everybody is well aware of, is the challenge pack bonuses. And they're considered bonuses because as a coach, we get paid 25%, right? And so with the challenge pack, we get paid a little bit more. Your customer gets a better deal, and it's just a good situation all around because they're well equipped to take these next steps on their fitness journey and be well supported by you. So it would be good information for you to know, and I didn't dig this up for you. I want you to go find it in your Coach Online office. But all the challenge packs are not the same, right? And so you may earn a $40 commission for those $140 challenge packs. The commissions go all the way up to $140. And so it's important that you know what your commission is on the challenge pack that you are selling to somebody. So this is the first way that you can earn. This is often the easiest, quickest way to start earning income as a coach, because you can start doing this literally the second that you sign up, right? The second you become a coach, you can help somebody get connected with the challenge pack. They purchase it from you, and you've earned your first commission check. Way to earn number 2, I just mentioned that, but retail commission is 25 to 40%. On those BOD memberships, those are closer to 40%, right? And so you get a higher percentage of a commission on those, and that's one way or another way that you can earn. But for generally speaking, you're earning 25% on most everything. So I feel like what happens after 1 and 2 here is that we kind of stop and we assume that that's all there is to earning as a coach. And so these next few ways to earn, to me, are the most exciting things about this business. Because if we're just doing 1 and 2, then we're basically a lone retail shop, right? And we can retail ourselves all day long, but eventually, I think at some point, you're gonna get burnt out. So it's interesting too. I said this, and maybe you said this, I don't know, when you first started, but I said, I just don't want to sell anything, right? Has anybody ever said that? I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to be a salesperson. Well, selling's not a bad word, right? It's not something that we necessarily need to shy away from. However, what we're doing with 1 and 2 is basically retailing, right? But what we're doing with this third way and some of the other ways here is that you're developing leaders, right? And so it takes the burden of retailing or selling away. Yet sometimes this is the part of the business that we shy away from the most. So I feel like that's a big point, or something to point out to you guys, because if selling isn't your thing, then the key to this business is really developing leaders. And that really is going to be the theme of this call. So yes, this is a compensation call, and yes, we're going to dive into these things, but at the heartbeat of all of this is that your goal as a coach and as a business owner is to find other leaders who are willing to build leaders, building your organization deep and wide. And so enter the Team Cycle bonus. It's important to clear up a couple of different things as we get into this topic. So there's PV, which is personal volume, and there's TV, which is team volume. I'm going to explain in the next slide how this works with Team Cycle bonus, but just so you guys know, personal volume is anything that you've purchased or that somebody has purchased from you. That's your personal volume. Your team volume is what your team produces. And you'll see too, you'll want to look at this, because sometimes we have things like challenge packs. The PV and the TV is different, right? For Shakeology, the PV is 90, the TV is 90. But sometimes there is a difference in those PV and TV numbers for the things that you are connecting your customers to. So that's one thing for you to just kind of watch for, and know that when you're earning your Team Cycle bonuses, it is off of the TV of your team volume. Okay? So let's dive into Team Cycle bonus. All right. So this, I know, looks like kind of just a bunch of circles here, but it should look a little bit familiar because if you're hopping on this call, I'm assuming that you are a business builder of some sort, or you are interested in approaching this as a business. I think a lot of times too, like my team, Team Fit Revival, I would say we are very mission minded. And if you are a coach, it is probably because you are mission minded as well. You have a heart to help other people change their life. But on the other end of that spectrum, and it's not on the other end of that spectrum, the two can be together. You can earn a fantastic income here. This is a business. And so I don't like, it's really fun for me to be able to talk about this because this is a business and we should own that and we should lean into that. And we should know how we can earn both as a retail store and as basically getting to franchise ourselves out in the way of building a team. And so instead of starting this diagram with like you as the coach, I want you to think about for a second, you have your coach, right? And then you have you. And then next to that, this is just an amber term here, but I called it like a sister coach. So for example, my coach is Stephanie. She signed up me, and then she signed up Joy Bowen. So Joy is like a sister coach, right? She may not be in the same leg that I'm signed up in. So if you look over here on this left leg here, it shows that I have one PS coach and another PS coach. So this means basically, according to this little diagram, I'm an Emerald coach, right? But I wanted to show you here what happens in the leg that you are signed up on. So if your coach is building the business, then you're getting other people added into that line of coaches. So you can see, like, I've got a sister coach underneath me here. I didn't sign her up. My coach or somebody else in that line of coaches signed her up. So when you go to your Coach Online office and you look at the number of coaches that have been added to your downline this week, you may see names that you don't even know. And so if you're on this call, and we are one big team on this call, there is a big chance that there are plenty of people sitting right here listening to me talk that are in your line of sponsorship that you don't know them at all, right? The really cool part about that is, though, is that your volume impacts her volume or his volume and vice versa, right? So we all have an impact on each other. It's literally like building a team. So I wanted to make sure we point this out, because when you win, we all win. When I win, we all win. It's how this works. And so you can see here too, I'm going to get to this point later on, how important it is as you begin to grow a team to not just work with your personally sponsored coaches, but to dive deep into your organization and work with the other coaches that are part of your coaches teams. That's how you start to build a strong team and a strong organization. So, and again, I saw that there might be a question. And here's the deal, guys. You can be placed anywhere underneath your coach. And there are coaches in this network that have built, both legs out, and it's just how it is, and they do that, and they do it well. And so no matter where you're placed, this business is yours for the taking. When your strong leg gets to 200 TV and your weak leg gets to 100 TV, you cycle one time. And so that may seem like something that is small and something that is insignificant, but it's not. Because you'll notice that as a beginner coach or as a coach that is just starting to build a business, most of your income comes from the retail side of things, right? But as you start to grow your team starts to run challenge groups, and they start to grow their teams who also start to run challenge groups. What starts to happen is the volume starts to increase on your team, on your strong leg, and then on your weak leg. And so as that begins to happen, those volume points grow and grow and grow exponentially. And your income starts to be heavier on the team cycle bonus than it is on the retail. The retail starts to become just icing on the cake as your business, as your team, as your organization starts to grow. The long-term potential in this business is truly in the team cycle bonus potential. So as an Emerald coach, you can make $14 per cycle. As a Ruby coach, it's $16, and as a Diamond and above coach, it's $18. So you want to get to Diamond as quickly as possible because then you're maxing that out, right? Things to remember, and I think sometimes these are things that we forget about, but I don't know if y'all realize, but your volume, the unused volume that you don't use, gets carried over. Once you become an Emerald coach, you can start earning a team cycle bonus, and even though they start off small, they start to grow as your team grows. So when you don't use volume on that strong side, it doesn't go away. It banks, which is really cool, because as that weak leg starts to grow more and more, then you get to pick up that volume that you banked over time. However, if you go inactive, you lose all of the carryover volume. So you could have banked up thousands of volume points. You go inactive as a coach, and then you've gone from hero to zero, and you have to start back over there. So the other thing that I love about our compensation plan is that you earn from every level of sponsorship. This is a really cool thing, y'all, that not like, you know, I've read other compensation plans before. I haven't read all of them. There's a ton of companies out there, but very rarely have I heard of another company doing things this way. A lot of times they will limit you on 3 levels down, 5 levels down, whatever is how you earn. However, we earn as coaches all levels down. It doesn't matter, right? That means that you can confidently work with somebody that is not your personally sponsored coach, and they still impact you and the success that you have in your business. That's amazing. I'm just saying, we're really blessed that this one thing allows us to earn from all levels down. There we go. Wait, I think I skipped one. Okay, yeah, this is like my favorite slide. I don't know if Julie's on this call, but Julie Strother, I was a new Diamond coach. We had a retreat. This is early on in my coach career, but my coach Stephanie invited us all out to Colorado for this retreat. And Julie Strother was there, and she is, you know, obviously she's one of my sister coaches, right? So somebody that had gone before me that I looked up to in the business, she handed us all this chart. And at the time, it kind of just seemed like another language to me. I didn't really understand it, but I literally refer to this, like, if not weekly, it's several times a month. Because now I don't have to do the math, right? I used to be a math teacher, but it's nice not to have to do the math. So I'm gonna start over at the left column right here so that you guys kind of understand what all of this means. And I don't know if you've ever seen this chart before. Has anybody seen this chart before? Okay, if you have, good. If not, I'm happy to send out a copy of it or ask your upline. I think it's very helpful to understand how things work with rank and volume. So as an Emerald, the most that you can make in team cycle bonus per week is $250. You're paid at $14 a cycle, so if you cycle 18 times, you can see that the total team volume is 5,400. If you have a strong leg and a weak leg, you're dividing that out there, 2/3 and 1/3, and that's how you cycle, right? So if your strong leg is 3,600 and your weak leg is 1,800, that means you have maxed out as an Emerald coach at $250 a week in team cycle bonus, okay? And so that's how you would read this for all of the ranks going down. You can have balanced legs, and there is that example there in the next column. Notice it says or. Okay? So for Ruby and Diamond, you max out at $2,000 per week at Diamond, and you can see what your goals are there, right? For your strong leg volume and for your weak leg volume. If you're not there yet, it's okay, right? But this gives you something to work towards, and it emphasizes the fact that volume and rank are necessary, because what happens when you get to 3-star and you're capping out at $5,000 per week? Then you really need to build for rank, right? You need another diamond so that you're not losing money every week sitting where you're sitting, volume-wise. I know I'm projecting and casting a wide net here, but I'm talking about this because these things do happen, okay? And so you want to make sure that you are building for rank and building for volume at the same time. And you'll go through seasons in your business where you might be emphasizing volume over rank, or you might be emphasizing rank over volume. They are necessary skills, and you need to master both of those. It takes time, and there are still parts of this business that I struggle with 7.5 years in. And so if you're sitting here thinking, man, I don't know how to build for volume, that's okay. But lean into that. Learn as much as you can about it. Try some different things, because that's the only way you get better. So you'll also see here, and this is just to kind of point out big picture wise, if you notice at 10-star, the weekly cycle bonuses max out, right? So, and I know this sounds like a crazy number, but $12,000 a week, right, is what you cap out at 10-star. So once you get to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you still cap out at $12,000 a week. So really think about how you're building, right? Think about, do you not building this shell of a business? But if you're building to Diamond and building to 2-star and building to 5-star, make sure that you're filling all of those ranks with volume. And sometimes you get ahead of yourself, right? So sometimes you might be ahead of yourself in rank, and then you have to catch up with the volume. That is normal. So, okay, we're gonna move on from that. Way to earn number 4 is Team Cycle Matching Bonus. And so this starts as a Ruby coach. You get 5% as a Ruby, 10% for Diamond coaches and above. So what happens here is that anytime like you have a coach on your team earn a cycle bonus, so let's say Susie earns her first cycle bonus and it's $14, and you are a Diamond coach, you get 10% of that. So yes, that's $1.40 deposited into your account. But to me, this is one of the coolest ways to earn, because it truly shows you how successful your coaches are becoming in terms of building leadership in their organization. So this is a really fun number to just watch and monitor and shoot for, right? So I gave you an example here. If Diamond Coach Molly earns $500 on her Teen Cycle bonus this week, her coach will earn $50. And I think a lot of times we don't even know that this is even a thing, right? I think maybe a lot of coaches don't know that this is part of our compensation plan. So what this means is that Molly cycled 28 times and was paid $18 for each of those 28 times. If that was the case, then her strong leg was 5,600 and her weak leg was 2,800. So I kind of reverse engineered that so that you can see what it would look like to earn $500 in a Teen Cycle bonus. Way to earn number 5. So we have what we call a total company volume bonus pool, and this is quarterly. So it's really similar to profit sharing. At 2-star, 5-star, 10, and 15, you earn 0.5% of the bonus pool for that rank. You have to hold that rank for 6 weeks in a quarter in order to get that bonus. It is cumulative. So if you're 15-star, then you get all of those, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 15. And obviously how it works, guys, is that there's a certain amount of money in each pool. Well, there's a lot more 2-star diamonds than there are 15-star diamonds. So the 2-star bonus is going to be less than the 15-star bonus because you're splitting it a lot more ways than you are splitting the 15-star bonus pool. Hopefully that makes sense. Way to earn, number 6, fast start bonus. I think sometimes we forget about this too. If a coach earns 5 fast start bonuses, that means you've sold 5 challenge packs. Within a rolling 5-week bonus period, you earn a $100 bonus. That's a great goal as a new coach, right? It's basically Success Club 10. If you're elite, you get $100 a month. You have to hold that 5-star rank for 6 weeks and a quarter. If you're top 200 elite, you get an additional $400 a month. So we may not do like cars and things like that, but as an elite coach, if you're top 200, you're going to get $500 a month that you can use towards a car or your house or a vacation or whatever you choose to spend it on. So let's talk about maximizing the comp plan. I've talked about all these things. I think a lot of times we stay locked in to challenge packs in retail, and we retail ourselves to death, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's how you start to build this business. Success Club is still a goal of mine and every leader on this call. Still run challenge groups as well as every leader that I know. But in those challenge groups, you better bet I am looking for that next leader that is going to blow this business up. I'm looking for that girl that is a hard worker. She's gritty. She's passionate. She's on this journey and she's on this train and she's not getting off. I'm looking for that girl in my challenge group. So when I wake up, I'm like, okay, who is going to be the next leader on this team that I can help develop? To maximize this comp plan, you build for longevity. This is not a short-term comp plan. This is long-term, stable business. Don't build, like I've said several times on this call, for an empty shell. Build for rank, but fill it with volume. And until you're 2-star, I really do think that most of your time should be spent on adding to your team. Finding those business partners, finding those leaders, helping develop those leaders that are willing to also build and develop leaders. Because ideally, eventually, those leaders, they won't need you anymore. And that's actually a good thing. And they will be better off without you. I know, right? It feels like a sucker punch sometimes, but it's awesome when that happens, because that means you have somebody that is building a team and growing and developing other leaders at the same time. Build deep and build wide. Work with your whole downline. So even if you're just starting as a coach, or maybe you don't have a coach on your team yet, and this is all a little new to you, this should build the case for you to get yourself to Emerald ASAP, because that is the start of all of this. This business is built one layer, one brick at a time, right? And so as you start to add coaches to your team, they start to add coaches to their team, you will know now that it's best practice for you to work with your coaches' coaches and their coaches. Find the leaders, no matter if they're your personally sponsored coach or not. and treat them like they are. Sometimes the shiny objects make sense. And by shiny objects, it could mean any kind of like program maybe that corporate has going, or I don't know. It can mean a variety of things. So sometimes those goals are like make sense, right? But sometimes they don't. And so it's up to you as a leader and a business owner to make those decisions. This is a business. And this is a business. It's basically, I heard somebody say this, it is a personal development plan with a compensation plan attached, and a really good compensation plan attached. We don't build this business to just coast. That's actually not a thing, right? But building this business in this way, developing leaders, does something. It gives you the time freedom, the financial freedom. It gives you the ability to go spend 2 weeks in Florida in the summer with your family and not worry about a thing. It gives you the ability to go to Europe with your mom for 10 days. It gives you the ability to walk through your dad's cancer. And I'm talking about Stephanie here, right? So it gives you the ability to do the things that you need to do in your life. And I highlighted living your best life here, and I know that's kind of a cheesy term these days, but it's true. So we don't build this business to coast and just say good luck, because that you'll see that your business will quickly, you'll find it in a tailspin, right? But we build this business to build the financial and the time freedom to live your best life, whatever that looks like, because it does exist and it is completely up to you. You have an amazing gift in your hands as far as this business is concerned. And I know there have been times in my time as a coach where I've had some limiting beliefs about what it looks like to build a team and earn an income here. But hopefully something I said tonight jarred something open for you and helps you realize that the potential here is limitless. The only thing that puts a limit on it is you. So I'm going to stop here. And I had no idea what the questions were. So it is 9:03. I'm going to look really quick. So, and we could go on here, right? So we could go on. I would say there is like a part 2 that could happen from this call. But knowing that we may have the newest and new coaches on this call, and we may have veteran coaches on this call, I had to make sure that what I presented to you was something that was good, right, and understandable for everybody, no matter where they're at in their business. But hopefully we're not afraid to talk about compensation anymore. So there's a lot of questions here. And we can get into strong leg, weak leg, placement strategy. And I would say, as far as questions like that, it's a really good idea to ask your coach. If your coach is new or she's not sure, go to your Star Diamond upline and ask them for help. So that should always be a conversation between you and your upline when you're not sure. So I know for a lot of my coaches, especially when they start off, they're like, oh my gosh, I have a new coach signing up. Where should I put them? And we go and we look and we talk about it and we make the best decision possible. Sometimes you don't know, right? Okay, yeah, I can pop back to slide number 6. The other thing I can do too is just share my slides with your leaders. So I think I'll just do that instead of popping back. That way you guys have them. This is recorded, so you'll get the recording in the description. I'll post a link to the slides, and that way you can go back and refer to all of it. Okay? So I'm not trying to ignore any questions, but since there's a big long thread, I'm not going to read that. But that's it. So hopefully this helped you guys. Your leaders will be passing on the recording, and that's it. You guys are awesome. Bye.